Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you how I made this fun little card for a friend's birthday using the Darling Donkey stamp set and the Oh So Ombre designer series paper that's found in our Sale-a-bration brochure. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. To start with, I'm going to stamp the little donkey for this project. This guy is just a lot of fun. He's kicking up his heels and ready to celebrate. So I am going to place him in the center of my basic white cardstock. I've inked him up using the Mementos because we want to color him with our Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to bring in my petal pink and I am going to color his little ear here. I'm going to use the dark against the fur portion of his ear and then the light just to add a little bit there. I'm going to bring in the dark gray granite and do his hooves and his muzzle. And I'm just doing basic coloring with this. I'm not adding a lot of detail or blending. So this is nice and quick. I'm doing his back hooves there, his tail, and I'm going to do his mane right here and his little tufts of hair. There we go. I'm going to bring in the gray granite light now, and I'm going to do the rest of his body. Just adding quick color all the way around. Of course, if you would prefer to shade, you are welcome to do so. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just doing straight coloring. There we go. I've dotted his back, and now I'm just filling in his body quickly. Now I can add a little detail with the bullet tip if you would like, just to add a little bit of shading here and a second layer of color if you would like. I'm going to do his back leg here and under his belly and this little fuzz on his back. There you go. Like I said, it's quick and easy. You don't have to do a lot of shading to create cute images. So I'm going to cut that out with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss and my layering oval dies, and I'll show you how to do the next step. Okay, for this next step, I am going to bring in my designer series paper, and this happens to be the Granny Apple Green from the Oh So Ombre set of designer series papers that you can find in the Sale-a-bration brochure. I'm layering that onto my Whisper White, and then I'm going to lay this purple here so it's a little more obvious for you. What I'm doing is masking the space so that I know exactly where I want to stamp. So now that I have that in place, I can bring in my sentiment. I'm using the HEE since he's kicking up his little heels. I thought this would make a fun card to celebrate a birthday. There we go. HEE right there above that Highland Heather line. And now I can start assembling. I'm ready to add my designer series paper, and I love the fact that this fun paper is bright, colorful, cheerful, and has different colors in the pack, some of which are my absolute favorite colors. There we go. I've got my Granny Apple on there, and I'm ready to bring in my Highland Heather strip. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here and a little bit of adhesive here and some down the center. And I'm doing that because this strip is a little wider than the actual cardstock panel. I've done that on purpose so that if I needed to, I can adjust and move so that there's no white cardstock showing because I cut this too short. And this is just a little trick so that you always get it the way you want and there's no white cardstock showing. I've got that layered so I can bring in my Highland Heather panel here, and I'm going to add this to the back and flip this over and adhere it down onto my card panel there. That will go on the front of my card after I add this beautiful Whisper White seam binding. It's crinkled so it has a little bit of texture, and it's nice and narrow, so it's perfect for this kind of project. And I love this technique of wrapping the ribbon around the entire layered piece and tying it into your bow this way. Of course, if you don't want to do a bow, you can do a simple knot, depending on what you prefer. I'm ready to trim this and slide my ribbon in place. Now, as you can see, this ribbon is slightly loose, but that's okay. I can tack it in place when I adhere my panel down, but I'm going to adjust that first. And I can even bring a piece of tape in if I want to. But since this is a little loose, what I'm going to do now that I have it where I want it is cut that in half, and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive down each side. Now this is a way to fix that loose ribbon if you don't want to tie it again because you're happy with what it is. And I'm going to tack that on that side simply by catching that adhesive and tacking it on the other. And then of course you can trim those off shorter if you'd like to, because this panel is now going to be adhered to our card base. That's just a quick and easy way to fix those little oopses that we do sometimes. I'm going to add some more adhesive around here, and that first set of adhesive that I lay down isn't going to go to waste because it's holding that ribbon, and the excess will go on to the front of my panel here and hold it in place also. There we go. I've got that on my card front. And now I'm ready to bring in my oval. I am going to adhere my little donkey onto my oval first. Oops, I'm sticking here. Static cling with the ribbon. And I'm going to flip him over, add some Stampin' Dimensionals onto the back. Remove the backings. And adhere my little donkey right here to the left of that ribbon. There we go. An adorable little card to celebrate somebody's birthday. I think this stamp set is just a lot of fun to work with. If you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.